Ever wonder if ancient people had the same daily struggles as us? You'd be surprised. Imagine waking up in a bustling city without an alarm clock, rushing to work without a car, grabbing a quick bite to eat, and trying to balance social life, family, and rest. Sounds modern, doesn't it? But this was life in Rome, almost 2,000 years ago. Their routines were a fascinating mix of the familiar and the strange. Today we'll walk through a full Roman day morning tonight to see just how normal life could be at the very heart of an empire. The Roman day began not with smartphones or buzzing alarms, but with the natural rhythm of the city itself. At sunrise, the streets came alive. The sounds of carts rolling on cobblestones, merchants opening shop stalls, and roosters crowing all served as the alarm clock for the Roman household. Inside the insulae, or apartment blocks, the air was thick with the smell of baking bread from nearby bakeries. Families stirred awake, often sharing a single room, where parents, children, and sometimes even grandparents all slept together. For wealthier Romans in villas, mornings were calmer, greeted by servants drawing curtains to let in the first light. The first words of the day might be a cheerful "Yo," a common Roman greeting, short and simple, similar to saying hey or good morning today. Breakfast or iantaculum was nothing like the grand morning spreads we might imagine. Instead, it was light, often just a piece of bread dipped in wine, maybe olives, cheese, or dried fruit if available. Children might nibble something quickly before heading off to tutors or informal schooling. Adults, especially those with business to attend to, ate on the go. Imagine grabbing a piece of bread while hurrying down the crowded street, very much like our modern habit of eating a granola bar in the car. But mornings weren't just about food. For many, especially men involved in politics or business, the day started with the salutatio. This was the formal greeting ritual between clients and patrons. Ordinary citizens, sometimes dozens at a time, would line up outside the home of a wealthy or influential man. They offered respect and loyalty, and in return, they might receive gifts, financial support, or even invitations to dinner later that week. It was both business and networking, an ancient version of checking in with your boss or building professional connections. As the morning work wound down, Romans paused for prandium, their midday meal. Unlike the banquets we often associate with Rome, lunch was practical and quick. Cold cuts of meat, leftover vegetables, a bit of bread, perhaps eggs or fruit. This was the fuel to keep going through the heat of the day. For the working class, lunch might be eaten standing in the street, purchased from one of the many food vendors who kept Rome fed. But food was only part of midday life. After lunch, the real social heart of Rome pulsed in the public baths, the thermae. These weren't just places to get clean. They were community centers, social clubs, gyms, and spas all rolled into one. For just a small entrance fee, people from nearly every class could enter and spend hours there. Imagine walking through grand halls filled with mosaics and columns, the air warm with steam. Men and women bathed separately, but both enjoyed the ritual, starting in the cold pool frigidarium, moving to the warm bath tepidarium, and finally sweating in the hot room caldarium. In between, people exercised, wrestled, threw ball games, or simply lounged and gossiped. Politicians made deals in the corner. Friends joked while splashing in the pools. Philosophers debated loudly about ethics. In many ways, the baths were like our coffee shops, gyms, and public parks all combined. They were places where you could run into your neighbors, hear the latest rumors, or even get career opportunities. To skip the baths was to miss out on the pulse of Roman life. As the sun dipped lower, Romans returned home for their main meal. Not for the wealthy. Cena could be extravagant, with multiple courses, eggs and salads first, then meats, seafood, and vegetables, followed by sweet fruits and honey cakes. But for the majority of Romans, dinner was simpler. Porridge, bread, maybe lentils or beans, sometimes a bit of salted fish. What mattered most wasn't the food, but the company. Families gathered together, often with extended relatives under one roof. Fathers, mothers, children, and sometimes slaves all shared the meal, though not always at the same table. The Roman household was tightly structured. The father, or paterfamilias, held legal authority over the family, but everyone had defined roles. Women managed household affairs, oversaw servants, and cared for children. Children themselves were expected to show respect and discipline, learning their place in society from an early age. After dinner, entertainment varied. Wealthy Romans might enjoy poetry readings, music, or even small performances. Others went to taverns, gambling houses, or amphitheaters to watch games. Families might simply sit together, telling stories, talking about the day, or teaching children lessons. The simplicity of many Roman homes, especially apartments, meant that evenings were intimate, sometimes crowded, but deeply connected. As darkness fell, Rome did not grow quiet. Quite the opposite. The city of 1,000,000 people buzzed with nighttime activity. Torches and oil lamps lit the streets, though dimly, casting long shadows against the stone walls. Watchmen patrolled, trying to keep order, but the streets could be dangerous. Thieves, drunken brawls, and even fires were common after nightfall. For ordinary Romans, bedtime came earlier than for us. Since artificial lighting was limited, families huddled together in shared sleeping spaces. In crowded insulae, noises carried easily. Babies crying, neighbors arguing, dogs barking. Privacy was rare. Yet, there was a nightlife too. Taverns served cheap wine, attracting workers and sailors. Street performers entertained small crowds. Wealthier citizens might sneak out for secret parties or late-night banquets. The city never truly slept. It pulsed with life, even after sunset. So, what do we learn from a day in the life of ancient Rome? Their world, though separated from us by 2 millennia, feels strangely familiar. They woke up to the noise of the city, rushed through mornings, grabbed quick lunches, gathered with friends at social hubs, enjoyed family dinners, and drifted off to sleep, surrounded by the hum of urban life. Of course, there were stark differences to Cleopatran rituals, communal baths, dangerous night streets, but the essence of human routine remains the same. The desire for food, family, work, social connection, and rest unites us across time. The Romans were not so alien after all. In many ways, they lived lives not unlike our own, filled with small struggles, small joys, and the daily rhythm of being human.